Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. It's not the Final Nightmare, but it's called the Final Nightmare. Much like how Jason Goes to Hell, which is the one after this, is called the Final Friday. But it's not the Final Friday. So, Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare came out September 13th, 1991, directed by Rachel Talalay. I apologize, I cannot say her name. But she's the first female director in the Friday the 13th / Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, which is pretty cool. So, Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. What is it? What is it about? We get some backstory. We get a lot of backstory on Freddy Krueger in this film. One of the coolest deaths in this franchise is in this movie too, which is cool because I said that in the last one too about the warehouse and the skateboard. But this one is pretty neat too. What was the character? Spencer? He gets killed in his dream, but he's Freddy's playing a video game of him as the character, and he's kicking Spencer's ass in the video game. It's so cool. When did this come out? 91. So they're talking about Power Gloves. It's all very Nintendo-esque. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. I really enjoyed it. So we have some timeline is presented to us in a classroom with actual dates, but honestly, I was getting so mad watching this film. The beginning and middle really pissed me off, but I love the ending, which is very, very interesting to say. So I didn't really pay attention to that chalkboard with the dates. Maybe I should have, but oh well. I don't know how long this is after the fifth one. I still don't understand how Freddy is actually back when he was taken back by his mom, Sister Amanda Krueger, in the last one, in the fifth one. Right? That was the fifth we just talked about. And this is the sixth. So, I don't, 89 to 91. Okay. I don't understand what happened in between the 2 years of the films, but, Freddy's back. And he kind of explains that, his daughter brought him back. So now we know that Freddy had a daughter. And, we learned that he was married to this woman, Loretta, who was with him and their daughter, Catherine, when Freddy started to molest and then kill kids. And then Catherine and Loretta both found the basement of Freddy's stuff, and Freddy kills Loretta. Freddy makes Catherine, as a small kid, promise not to tell anybody, but then he's obviously arrested, but then he's acquitted. But in the process of this, Catherine is later adopted and renamed Maggie, and then Maggie is now some kind of social worker. She runs a shelter. She helps work at a shelter, not in Springwood, but near Springwood. And there's this brand new John Doe there, and all these other kids can't sleep and starts to dream of Freddy Krueger. So Freddy's back, but why is Freddy back? So Maggie and company go to Springwood. Springwood. I know it's Springwood, but my mind is telling me it's not Springwood. Hold on, please. Springwood. Okay, so when they get to Springwood, all the kids are missing. There's no kids over the last 10 years. They've all been disappearing because somehow Freddy's been going into everybody's dreams and just taking them. So it's just crazy adults now in Springwood. And we get Glenn. We get Johnny Depp back as Glenn for half a second doing a This Is Your Brain on Drugs infomercial via Spencer's video game dream. Absolutely hysterical. But, yeah, so the deaths are pretty neat. It's very quick. John thinks that he's Freddy's kid, but we then learn that Maggie, who's really Catherine Krueger, is Freddy's daughter. And then eventually they figure out those that are surviving. Go back to the shelter, and Freddy's see, it's you who had to get me out of Springfield. And he's people dream everywhere. So we then also get information of why Freddy keeps coming back. It turns out, as he was being burned by the village folk, he made some deal with these skeletal fish things called the Dream People, where he can live forever by going into people's dreams. This is the literal backstory we get on why Freddy Krueger can jump to dreams, because he made a deal with 3 skeletal fish who control everyone's dreams. I shit you not. Watch the movie again. It's there. It's right there. And when Catherine realizes she can take Freddy out of the dreams into the real world and fight him, she puts on the family heirloom glove. She stabs him in the stomach. One of the girls throws her a dynamite stick or something, and she shoves it in his chest, and Freddy literally explodes. Freddy's dead. R.I.P. We get an R.I.P. Freddy at the end, which was hysterical because we know he's not dead, because then we get Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and then we get Freddy vs. Jason, and then there's the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's a different universe. So it's just it's funny watching these films, just because like some parts are absolutely hysterical, and they're known as horror comedies, but like the action sequences get better and better, and the death kills get better and better. And it's funny to say this because these were 80s and 90s films, and then the Saw films were aughts and 2010s films. Now we have Spiral, which just came out in 2021, which I still haven't seen yet. But like, with watching the Saw films, you start with very simple traps, and then you get more to elaborate games with bigger traps, and then big games with big traps. And it's funny because you always have to one-up yourself. It's just how the horror genre works. If you do one kill shot, you got to do a definitely more incredible kill shot in the next film. And that's what the Friday the 13th films do, and that's what the Nightmare on Elm Street films do. That's just what I'm noticing, comparing them to Scream as well with Ghostface, comparing them to Saw with Jigsaw. I have to do the Halloween movies, I have to do the Hellraiser movies, I have to do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Leatherface movies. We'll do that for spooky season 2022. I think 2021 I got enough to go through. I got 45 things to discuss, films and TV shows and books and whatnot, on my list of things. But like, yeah, I'm rambling. I realize I'm rambling now. Yeah, so Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare, pretty good. I really like the ending just because we get a lot of backstory on Freddy. The fact that he makes a deal with 3 skeletal fish people to live in people's dreams forever just blows my mind. And when he blows up, the fish people escape. I just find it absolutely hysterical that that's the reason why he can jump from dream to dream, is because he made a deal with the dream people. Love it. Absolutely love it. But the first third of this movie, boring. The second third of this movie was getting better. Third third of this film was pretty cool. So I don't know how to judge it, because I really like the ending because we get more backstory on Freddy. We see him as a kid, we see him as a teenager, but like, man, the beginning was so boring. All right, so the next film is Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, which came out August 13th, 93. Oh, technically, if I was born in 90, Freddy's Dead, the Final Friday, which came out in 91, so I was 1 year old for that movie. That was the first movie that I was alive for. So let's do that. How many movies have I been alive for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if you include Goldberg's Mr. Knifey Hands, and then Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, which is the documentary that what the hell's his name? Mark? He plays Mark. What the hell was his name? The main character? No, his name is Mark. He plays Jesse. He plays Jesse Walsh in the second Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Revenge. Mark Patton. There we go. The documentary that Mark Patton did about him being the first male Scream Queen in Hollywood. So I added that to my list because I've been wanting to see that. I talked to Mark actually on Instagram when this movie came out. I saying how excited I was for it to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. I feel like an idiot. I have to watch it. So I'm going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. He is a prime staple within the horror universe, and I need him to get a lot more credit than he deserved. He got shafted way back when. We'll talk about that. But all right, what was the point of my story? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've been alive for 9 out of the 22 Nightmare on Elm Street / Friday the 13th releases. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, good times. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.